the 49ers are getting up there in age. They have their best offensive lineman is 37 years old. They just gave him a 3-year extension. How many years does he have left? I mean, Christian McCaffrey, what is he, 29 years old? Next year he'll be 30. I mean, usually a running back, as long with all the tread Christian McCaffrey has on his knees and his legs, how long does Christian McCaffrey have as a running back, a star running back in the NFL? Maybe a year at best if he can stay healthy. So there's your star running back that you're paying. Your quarterback, you don't even know if he's going to be a quarterback in the next 2 years because you don't know if you're going to extend him because you don't want to pay him 45 to 50 million because guys like Owen could say that he's not a franchise quarterback. And then you look at all the players. Deebo Samuel's not going to be there next year. He's highly overpaid. He can't stay healthy. George Kittle is how old? 30 years old now. How long does tight ends have in their careers in the NFL, especially as beaten up as George Kittle? I mean, practically their star players are at the tail end of their career. And again, their window was open for the last 5 years. They've been to how many Super Bowls in the last 7 years? They've been to 2, and they crashed. They never won. And Kyle Shanahan, say whatever you want, as good of a coach as he is, he's a great offensive mind, and I do believe he's the true quarterback whisperer. I know his father, Mike Shanahan, is one of the more known offensive coordinators. If you look at his tree has Sean McVay, it has O'Connell, it has his own son. He's got a tremendous tree when you look at Mike Shanahan's tree. Mike Shanahan won 2 Super Bowls with the Broncos. His son, 2 Super Bowls he's been to, and he's 0-2. He's not a winning coach. I'm sorry, and I don't care what anybody says. When you look at his record, he has a winning record. He's got great teams, and he's been in a conference in the NFC that's weak. It's been weak for the last, 5 years? The NFC conference has been crap. And that's why they've been to 2 Super Bowls in the last 7 seasons or 6 seasons, because the NFC sucks. It's facts. And I do believe John Lynch, who's on it was 1 more year left of his contract. I think he needs to go. I think Kyle Shanahan, who has 2 years left on his contract, I think he needs to go. They need to start over. They need to bring in a younger guy and a younger GM and start over. This team is too old. The only great young player that they have on this roster right now that I think you should keep, Warner should be gone too. He's overpaid as a linebacker. He's a great player, but he's getting up there in age. A linebacker, Warner's 29 years old? Linebackers don't last that long in the NFL either with the tread that they have on their bodies. The only player that they have that is worth keeping is Nick Bosa. And by the way, in the last 4 seasons, has this guy stayed healthy too? So this team there's so many guys that are just at the tail end of their career. They overpaid Brandon Aiyuk. Do you think Brandon Aiyuk is going to be the same wide receiver when he comes back after tearing his ACL? He's not. It's going to take him at least 2 years to get back at 100%. By then, he's 26, 27 now? He's at 29. How many years does he have left on his tread? I mean, seriously, this team is old. This team needs to rebuild, and I think off she goes with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch.
Well, yeah, too, and you look at it. Kittle's 31, and Errol, you brought up Fred Warner, and he's 28, just turned 28 in November.
He'll be 29 next year.
Yeah. So at the end, basically mid-late season. But it's a one thing, and O can touch on this as well, because we actually had this conversation seeing exactly like the situation that the Niners are in right now. It's like, why would you even rush him back? Because you signed him to the extension. You did that. And so why rush him back? It was what was it basically? It was a bilateral Achilles strain or tendonitis or whatever it was. And then you bring him back and try to put a load on him when it's literally not the best conditions, and he's already prone to injury anyways. And then that happens. And then on top of it, now you have Jordan Mason out. So you're really not doing anything. Is it like kind of we talked about a few weeks ago? Are they kind of in the Jets mind frame where we got to reload and get younger and figure these things out? I don't know. I still think obviously Kittle and what they've done in the contracts that they have, I think they need to be able to sustain some of it,
Right.
maybe get rid of a little bit of it. But I think obviously we all know CMC is great, right? But also at the same time, we know he's going to get hurt. Like, we know that. And who's the answer? And I'll let Owen speak on this because he's obviously a huge Niners fan. But he doesn't think Brock Purdy's the answer for what it is, or maybe it's him with working in the scheme of Kyle Shanahan. I don't know that answer, but there are certain aspects of what they need to do to get rid of some of those injury-prone guys, because that's what happens. And obviously we've seen it because they're way too talented to have the record that they have, 100%.